Caitlin Michelle Saragusa, aka Amouranth, is one of the most popular Twitch streamers of all time, and she is notorious for making massive amounts of money through desperate people donating insane piles of cash to her, and also for being one of the most prominent creators on adult sites such as OnlyFans or Fansly. But in this video I'm gonna show proof that Amouranth is actually lying about her age in order to get even more money from her fans, and my evidence for this is frankly absolutely damning. But before we get into today's video, YouTube Studio tells me that most people watching this aren't actually subbed to the channel, so if you enjoy my stuff, please subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 350 subs before the end of the month, so your help would be appreciated greatly. Anyway, back to the video. Alright, so Amouranth might just be one of the most controversial Twitch streamers of all time, but at the same time also one of the undeniably most successful. If you don't know her, she has been around the Twitch community for multiple years at this point, and she rose to prominence by essentially doing cam girl content on Twitch. So she would just sit there in revealing clothing on stream and encourage people to like donate money to her, and if she did, she would do a squat, or she would write the donator's name on her body, or something else that's like vaguely sexual. And she has been making absolute bank for years for doing this. I think statistically speaking, Amouranth probably receives the highest amount of just pure donations of any streamer, period. So she has definitely already paid her mortgage and probably lives in a massive mansion right now. But over time her content has sort of evolved a bit, but also not really, because she now does ASMR streams, hot tub streams, and Just Dance, but the fundamental purpose is always staying the same. Pretty girl sits there on stream and profits off desperate men. Now, if you ask me, her content is pure garbage and brain rot, but we're not here to talk about her content today, if you can even call it content, but instead some recent statements she made that are just blatant lies. So the other day I was browsing around on Twitter on the new For You tab, where you now get recommended tweets that people you follow like, and I saw that someone I followed liked this tweet by Amouranth. Free gaming in the hot tub right now, celebrating, I think she meant to type celebrating, my 21st birthday, come get hot with me, cringe emoji. And this tweet seemed extremely fishy to me. So Amouranth is saying she's 21 years of age, and I don't really keep up with what Amouranth is doing at all, but I kind of assumed that she has been doing this cam girl type of stuff for at least a couple of years at this point. So I thought that she would have to be like older, like mid-20s, but now she's out here claiming that she's 21. Now on Wikipedia and famous birthdays, her age is listed as 29, but I did hear of these two websites providing inaccurate information before, so I decided to do my own research. So I started digging through some old tweets, and it turns out she's just flat out lying about her age. Now first I came across this tweet, which left me even more confused, because in November 2018 she was claiming that she just turned 18, which would make her 22 right now. But this also seemed very suspicious to me, because most of the people in the replies were saying stuff like, no fucking way you were 18, I thought you were over 21. Wait, you were never even 18 in the first place? What the fuck? I'm not sure how I feel about having seen your content prior to this revelation. Are you really 18? Because I feel bad for myself liking your stuff before now. Okay, so the overall reaction to this tweet at the time was that people were surprised and shocked to find out that she's actually 18, or that she's claiming she's 18. So I dug deeper, and I think I have a strong case for her actually being 29, like it's listed in the Wikipedia. But at the very least, she has to be 25. So there's a lot of old videos of Amouranth which I went through, and most of them are from 5 to 6 years ago. And I came across this particular video which would feel very out of place if she was actually 15 at the time.
So I was drinking a lot on my Twitch stream tonight because I wanted to make a drunk YouTube video.
So you're telling me that this is supposed to be 15-year-old Amouranth, and she looks like a woman in her mid-20s, and she's just casually making videos while being drunk, when she would be like 6 years under the legal alcohol age in the US. Plus, she also has a Patreon linked in her video description, which I believe you need to be 18 to create a Patreon. So her being 15 while doing all this doesn't even seem remotely right to me. Like, if you're just objective and you take a look at this video for 5 seconds, you realize that she's obviously not 15 here. And then I did some more digging, and I came across this guy Miles King's video. He was the original person that exposed Amouranth for being married, and in his video there's this clip.
I'm 23, I'm open to dating, don't have time for it though, really. And there's no one I really want to date right now.
23.
And this is a clip from over 5 years ago, and she just casually mentions that she's 23, which would align directly with the her actually being 29 now timeline. Plus, I found even more instances of her on Twitter from 2016 claiming to be 23, which would also make her 29 now. This one here, for example, and this one as well. So according to her own post history, she should be 21 now, but we do know that she at the very least started creating content in 2016, and right off the bat she was basically camgirling, right? And she was on Patreon, and she was selling lewd pictures on Snapchat, and I think that she would have to have been at the very least 18 at that point. Otherwise, we would have a lot of CP lawsuits to go through now if she was really like 15 selling lewd pictures of herself. But with taking all the evidence I just provided into account, I think it's fair to assume that she's most likely 29, and if we're being generous and assume that she lied about her age before for whatever reason, she would have to be at least 25. But what we can all agree on is that she's definitely not 21. So now that we have verified that Amouranth is lying about her age, the question of why becomes really important, and I do think that the answer as to why Amouranth is lying about her age is kind of simple and obvious actually. Amouranth's audience is entirely male, since she's essentially profiting off exclusively single and lonely men, and it's been scientifically proven that men are consistently up to the age of 50 most attracted to 20 to 24-year-old women, which I think is kind of weird, but it's scientifically a fact. So what Amouranth is really doing here is essentially just buying herself more time to be able to be like this massive cam girl Twitch thought and make a lot of money in the process, because eventually the older she gets, her numbers are just gonna go down due to her age, and so therefore she's pretending to be 21 just so she can take advantage of lonely men even more and for even longer. Now, I'm not here to like bring every man watching this on some sort of red pill Amouranth is evil pipeline, because at the end of the day, if I were to do that, I'd end up on Rumble. And also, if you're donating to this 29-year-old woman thinking that you like actually have a chance of becoming her boyfriend, I think it's entirely your own fault that you're throwing your money away. Like, I barely have any sympathy for that kind of person, even though they're probably extremely depressed and unhappy with their own life. But I do think that it's not okay to just lie about your age like that. The same way I didn't find it okay that she was lying to all of these men about actually being married. So I hope that maybe someone bigger than me has the courage to expose her for her lies and can hopefully reach some of her viewers by directly disproving her misinformation, because it's not that hard to find out her actual age, or at least it's not that hard to actually verify that she's not 21.